What is HYROX and what do you need to know to crush your first HYROX race? If you're new here, I'm Dr. Alyssa and this is my co-coach and business partner, Cory Davis. Cory has been racing and training and coaching people for HYROX for the past year and is the head of the brains and the brawn behind our HYROX programs at the Lyss method. And so I'm going to sit down with Cory to talk to you about what HYROX actually is, what you need to know about it. And a fun fact is Cory and I are both training right now for our first HYROX doubles in 2025. So you'll be seeing more HYROX content coming from us and the TLM team this year.
What is a HYROX race? So HYROX is a fitness event company. They started in Germany in like 2016, 2017 in Hamburg, Germany. And it is a fitness event where you do 8 rounds of run 1,000 meters. It's all in meters because it's, you know, a European-based company.
No freedom units.
Yeah, they don't know 0.62 miles. So in order, it's run 1,000 meters, ski 1,000 meters. Run 1,000 meters, do a 50-meter sled push. Run 1,000 meters, do a 50-meter sled pull using a rope. Run 1,000 meters, do an 80-meter burpee broad jump. Run 1,000 meters, row 1,000 meters. Run 1,000 meters, do a 200-meter farmer's carry. Run 1,000 meters, do a 100-meter walking lunge with a sandbag. Run 1,000 meters, and then do 100 wall balls.
Things I'll add to that is one, it's the same every single time. It's not like CrossFit. A lot of people confuse it with that. It's similar, but it's not. It's the same every time. And 2, it does involve some strength, but don't be fooled. I think people forget it is a running event.
For sure,
it is a running event.
the running is the most important.
Yeah.
So it's always the same event, which is to me a feature. Like I like that it's something like a marathon or half marathon where like you can run a marathon anywhere in the world and it's 26.2 miles. The HYROX event is the same. So when you hop on their website and you look at, oh, this weekend there's an event in Marseille, in Anaheim, and Glasgow. Cool.
They're all the same.
It's all the same. And there's minor differences of like the way it's laid out inside, but it's always that event and it's always the same weights. So there's a like open women's weight, which is the lightest. There's a men's weight, which they also use for the pro women's weight. And then there's a pro men's weight. So like when Alyssa and I partner up, we'll do the open men's weight / the pro women's weight. And so they offer it in a solo competition where you do all that by yourself, in a doubles competition, which is what you and I are gonna do, where we both run 1,000 meters together, like side by side. Strategically, Alyssa's incredibly strong and like gender to gender, much more impressive than me. But I am a 200-pound male who lifts weights, so I am like absolutely stronger
definitely
than her.
stronger than me.
Yeah.
His biceps about the size of my thighs. So.
In an absolute sense, I am. So it also makes sense strategically for like me to do more of the lunges or of the sled push. But since Alyssa, you're a better runner than me tiring myself out on that sled push, because that makes sense, doesn't make sense the moment we then turn around to go for the next run. So it'll be.
So the thing that's nice about it is there's strategy for the doubles. I mean, there's strategies for the solo and there's strategies for the doubles, and we'll take you guys through the strategy that Cory and Noah will kind of help me strategize, and we'll potentially document that for you guys for my first solo open. I'm not doing pro for my first one. And then me and Carly will have a totally different strategy for female doubles for open, and then me and Cory. So you guys will get to kind of see us strategize through 3 different types of pairings, kind of almost all the pairings other than I guess I got to do an open pro.
An open pro at some point.
I guess I'll have to do that and we'll strategize that as well.
Even with that, and something I really like about these events, besides that it's given me a really good like focus to a hybrid style training, and it has forced me to really emphasize running in a way that like I've always ran, but like, oh, now I actually need to like pick out running shoes that are right for me, as opposed to just like, man, I'm gonna be here for 10 minutes running a mile, like it doesn't matter what shoes I have. So that's been really good. If you and I raced in June in New York, and then we did another race in November, we could have a completely different strategy. Just as our fitness changes or as our overall understanding of our own strengths and weaknesses change, we could change it up again. Full disclosure, incredibly nervous about the number of people that are gonna be watching this, knowing that like they're gonna be low-key judging you about like your performance, and that I will be the one holding you back.
It's okay. It's okay because so for context, guys, I am doing my first solo HYROX in March. my first doubles with Coach Carly from TLM in April.
Yep.
And then me and Cory will be doing tentatively doubles in June. So Cory has a lot of time to gain fitness.
Yes.
And I have a lot of time to reduce the judgment on my own fitness.
Yes.
So we have time.
Yes,
we have about 6 months from the point of
perfect.
this video to be less embarrassing.
Yes,
That's
but
the goal.
if we don't hit the 2025 TLM growth goals, I will attribute it to
Your running paces.
We must not have done well enough in that
So
race.
make sure you
That
sign
has
up
to
for
be
our
the issue.
program so Cory doesn't get fired.
Yes, absolutely.
Cory, tell them a little bit about you and your HYROX experience so people know why are we listening to this Cory guy.
Awesome. So, because Alyssa put me on camera is why you have to listen to me. I own a gym. We now have 3 locations. We've been open for 12 years. And I met Alyssa because she trained at one of our facilities with Noah Groover, who you guys know if you follow Alyssa's stuff. He's still the guy that does Alyssa's like one-on-one programming, which is basically what you guys do in TLM a couple months down the line after we beta tested on Alyssa. I got into HYROX racing actually because Noah's fiance, Val, saw a video about it and said, hey, this looks pretty fun. And I was looking for something else to do. I had just finished a really hard like powerlifting cycle and I hit a big deadlift goal. And I was kind of sitting there thinking like, cool, what's next? And for me, that I got to a 600-pound deadlift and I was like, cool, that's really strong, and like objectively, like it is really strong, but also like not anywhere near how strong you have to be to like legitimately compete at a guy my size. So I was like, cool, I don't really want to try to deadlift 700 pounds. Like I don't want to go deep enough.
You reached the point that I think every ex-powerlifter, strength athlete, or newfound hybrid athlete like myself has found is you got really strong and you're just like, okay, I'm cool with that. What else can I do?
Yeah,
what else can I do with my fitness now?
The sacrifice. And I always did like hybrid style training. Like I never stopped doing cardio, but whereas Alyssa, when she's doing her 100-miler, is on like one end of the cardio strength spectrum, I was on the opposite end, where you were still lifting and you were still lifting well, but not as well as you are capable of because you're doing a really long race. And I was on the other end. Like I still ran, but I wasn't running 30 miles a week. I was running like 5 miles a week. And so it was just
and
like
hybrid is a spectrum there, ladies and gentlemen.
The other end of the spectrum.
Yeah, everyone, if you haven't heard me say that before, it is a spectrum, so.
And so I looked at the HYROX race and I just kind of thought like, oh man, that might be a perfect answer for me. Because I don't know if you're like this, I don't know if your followers are like this, but I'm pretty competitive. I'm not good enough to like have
actually
it show
compete.
Up. Yeah, I'm competitive with like me, but if I sign up for a half marathon, I have a hard time being motivated to still lift with a lot of intensity. And if I sign up to deadlift 600 pounds, it's really hard for me to get motivated to go for my 3-mile run because that doesn't really help me that much towards my big goal. And so what I really liked about the HYROX race is there's enough of a strength component that I needed to be strong, but also needed to run and needed to do cardio. So I was like, if this works, this could be a really good like melting point for me of I want to keep lifting weights, but maybe not need to deadlift 600 pounds again, and I need to run more.
And this is a great sport because there is that hybrid spectrum that we talk about a lot, and if you guys have consumed any of my resources or my ebook Hybrid, I talk about all the time this hybrid spectrum. And hang on. Hey, sit. Can you sit? Wait.
Don't cut that out. That's great content.
So there's this hybrid spectrum, and the thing that's interesting about HYROX is similar to how CrossFit is in nature is you always are gonna suck at something, and I think people think that that is a negative thing towards them, but there's always something that you can improve at. So for me, I need to get better at wall balls. I really struggle with wall balls. I'm 5'1", I have a hard time. They kind of make me dizzy, so that for me would be a weakness of something that I would potentially need to improve on, right? My erg work is something that I need to improve on. But I have a really good cardio fitness base, and my running's pretty strong right now because I just came off a big running season. Where the opposite is true for Cory. Cory is very strong. He really doesn't need to be objectively stronger for the events that they're doing, but he probably does need to become a better runner. So that might be a focus on something he's doing or change up the strategy. And that's why also the strategy for this is fun because it's the same race every time. So you yourself, as you do them, can start to see where you are improving, not improving, what you need to work on, and attack those in season. So if you are familiar with the Lyss method at all, or programs that I and we both offer, I'm really big on this seasons approach of saying, hey, what do you need to work on? What needs to be brought up in your fitness, and where do you lack, and how do we improve and refine that? And that over time is how you kind of piece together that hybrid fitness. And HYROX is a fun way to kind of test that repeatably and see, where do I fill the gaps on, where am I lacking, and where do I target, and where can I improve with training?
Yes,
right?
for sure. And so I signed up, I did my first race last fall.
Yeah.
So I saw it, I trained for it all summer, did it last fall, and then while I was there, I was enough of a fan of the way the race was put together. So the way that HYROX ran the event, I was so impressed by. I was like, okay, cool.
Yeah.
This is going to be something that does really well. It's already really big in Europe. If you actually want to sign up for a race in Europe, especially like in England now, there's like a lottery system.
Oh, wow.
Because there's so many people signing
the
up.
Western states of HYROX.
Yeah, there was a race they did in Paris. That was actually like in the Grand Palais. YouTube people can tell me how to actually pronounce that word.
Correct us in the comments.
Yes, but it was inside that like museum venue.
Yeah.
And it was up on the website and then sold out before I could convince my wife, which maybe would have never happened, but it was sold out before I could convince her that like, hey, we should do a trip to Paris and go do this race. They sell it super fast. And I think it'll get to that place in America
Over
because the events are really fun. They are really well run. They are like enjoyable. Like we had 30 people do the Dallas race that was a couple weeks ago. There was a Dallas race in November of 2024, just depending on when you're watching this. We had about 30 people from our gym in Watkinsville show up and do that race. There's one in Atlanta that you're doing
We're
with
gonna
Carly.
do with, yeah.
And then a bunch of our Core1 people are doing it. I think as of today, we have like 60 people signed up for it.
So for context, Cory has 3 gyms. They're all HYROX certified gyms.
Yep.
Cory's a HYROX. Is it certified or approved or
Yes.
coach? He's a
there's
HYROX
couple,
coach.
Yeah,
There's a
couple
title for
different
it.
versions of it, but
Yeah,
I'm
he's a
I'm
HYROX
an
approved.
official HYROX coach.
Yeah.
I had to
So he's
take
been
a class, pass the
coaching
test.
and bringing members from his gym to that, which is why a big reason we're bringing this into the TLM sphere, because our clients have been itching for this as well. If you're looking to train for your first HYROX this year, you want to make sure that you subscribe and don't miss out on part 2 of this video coming up with me and Coach Cory, where we talk about who HYROX is for and our best advice and tips and tricks for training for your first HYROX this year. If you like this video, make sure you like it and leave a comment below if you have any questions for Cory and I. We have a lot of content coming out around HYROX this year, and we'd love to hear from you what else you'd like to see. Otherwise, we'll catch you on part 2 with me and Coach Cory.
Download the TLM HYROX program so that Alyssa doesn't fire me. Thank you.